have a couple assistants on your staff who you actually played with here at Vanderbilt. So what is it like to work with people that you used to play with? What does that mean for you to have them on the staff?
It's surreal. I mean, and like it's fun too, right? We get to reminisce, and every time we have an alum back, particularly guys that played in our era, it's just so much fun to sit around and tell the old war stories. But but also these guys have grown professionally and are pros, so it's fun both in an interpersonal level, but also with respect to the fact that they've matured into great coaches and the fact that they're adding value to our operation every day.
And then Javon specifically, he was a holdover from Mason, but you also knew, you played with him. So how does that, having that kind of, I guess, prior institutional knowledge of the previous regime help you out there, plus your previous knowledge of him?
Less about any staff prior, like we don't spend any energy on that. I mean, the institutional knowledge of Vanderbilt is huge, right? Because there's a guy who came here, had great success on the field, had great success in the classroom, to NFL aspirations, went on to NFL aspirations, and then returned to mentor his young players. And so for us, to have that guy in those rooms every single day is like a huge plus. To have that guy sending that message and recruiting is huge. And he was a captain here, and he continues to be a captain here. And I think it's such a powerful aspect of the program.
A little skirmish at the end of practice. Was that kind of a player-led thing? I think Davion was speaking to the team. How did you feel about how all that was handled? What was the message that was given there?
We say to the edge and never over, and that obviously is over the edge. And so I think that's a teaching moment. I was disappointed in it because that's not a mature team. That's not a mature thing to do. As a competitor, there is a ton of emotion in your performance, and yet you can never act on your impulse. And so, for me, it's the teaching in the moment to make sure we understand that making the team decision is at times tamping those impulses back to make sure we win the game. And if we're going to be a winning program, we're not going to have things like that show up in practice, because when you train them, they show up on Saturday too. And I thought David's message was great at the end, and right in lockstep with my message every day.
That one aside, how do you feel like the team has handled stuff like that throughout spring and fall camp?
To be honest, I think early in camp I wanted more emotion, and I kind of pushed them to get to the edge, because that's part of the training. Like, you're not training until you're in adversity, but we have to have this competitive mindset, this competitive edge to win. And when it's not getting to the brink, you're not actually pushing as far as you can. So I think over camp we've done a nice job of balancing. I feel like it's become very competitive, and you're starting to see like these one-on-one battles manifest and get physical and get confrontational. It just can't. We got to be more disciplined than to let it spill over. And I think they've been great in that respect. We got to learn from this and move on from it.
What was Davion's message to the team?
He just was. He was communicating the same things we communicate in the classroom, and that's we have so much work to be done, and we can't make mistakes that jeopardize our time together on the field. That was essentially what he was saying. But he did a great job finding the words and the emotion for the moment to communicate to his brothers, and I respect him for that.
How far has this team come from week 1 to now?
It's a little harder sometimes to over 3 weeks to step back and to see, but they've come a long way. I mean, the first practice, if you guys recall, finished with me spirited in the middle. We don't have that. We've gotten to the point where you guys have been able to see it. I mean, our work output, our rhythm has been consistent. We still, for me, it's still a focus on the things we need to improve, and that's, impacting winning at every turn. It's making the fundamental plays that are there for us to open up the opportunity to win late in the game, and that's where we got to find a little more consistency.
You've had some shifting around at guard, especially with Cole having been out a little bit here and there. How much has that affected what you guys are doing? Are you getting close to where you feel like you know who your guys are when they're healthy, or is that just thrown another variable in things with guys being out?
Well, inevitably, we won't be able to make it through the season without having to patch some holes. And so early on, it gives us a chance to kind of experiment a little bit with different combinations. We have identified who kind of the frontline guys are, and we have an idea of where we're headed for next week. But these are opportunities for us to kind of experiment and see, when that adversity does strike, how we'll fix those issues through the course of the season.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.